Afternoon, how are you? Well, it's nice out. It's in the 70s, overcast. The rain seemed to cool things off for a little bit, so we got a day at it. Of course, we had two monsters come into the area, Pence and Trump, talking at different times to a bunch of misguided youths who apparently think these guys are the cat's meow. It's a real shame that I think about my first year in high school, and there was some activity because the high school was on a university campus, Fordham, and everybody was going into this building. And I didn't know what it was about, so I tagged along. And there I was, what are we, 14, and a freshman in high school. And I was afraid about being late for a Latin class, but I wanted to know what it was. It was a young Massachusetts senator challenging mostly first generation Irish, Italian college students to make a difference. And it was Jack Kennedy. And I went back to my office. I went back to the classroom. I apparently wasn't late. I kind of sat in a reverie thinking about what he said. He was a dynamic speaker, and I hadn't seen anybody like that. And there were these huge Klieg lights on him. I can't imagine how you could show up for Trump and have any experience like that. I would think that if you had normal values, you would be apprehensive about even seeming to support such an animal. But youths showed up, and Pence said he was looking forward, which was a way of him avoiding talking about what actually made him a possible nominee, I suppose, for the Republicans. I'm hopeful that they'll start pulling each other's hair out sometime soon. Trump couldn't last long in such a contest. I don't know how many of you are of the age, but I don't know if you remember Wally Cleaver and Leave It to Beaver. I was interested in him because I was a swimmer and he was a diver, and I guess I now realize we were not that far apart. And they've said he's dead, except others say he's not dead yet. So we have misinformation about Mr. Cleaver. He supposedly did fight back cancer, so it's not entirely, well, it's clumsy if it's not correct, but it makes you think about Leave It to Beaver, those of you who may have seen it. It was a fun show for a kid to watch. The United States is planting more trees, and that's good. If they could just clean up the rest of their act about oil reserves and drilling in Alaska and the Gulf, and actually passing some of these bills that Manchin interferes with, then we really get cooking somewhere. I heard somebody today say that you shouldn't be criticizing Biden. This is a Democrat, and I don't know what's wrong with him, because I do believe, and there's a way to do criticism. Garland is off the scale, of course, but Biden is performing in lots of areas, but he's also, I think, legitimately the object of criticism. And criticism, if you're doing your best in politics, you're getting criticism, and hopefully you're correcting or finding ways to deal with it and evaluating what are legitimate claims or not. We're not a worship society. I've thought of myself as a gadfly from time to time. It was a nickname they had for Socrates. Luckily, I haven't been tried and told to drink any hemlock. Finally, we get around to Garland, who deserves as much criticism as can be stated. And it's not about whether he pivots finally. It is that he wasted so much time compromising the cases that can be brought. If I had to squint and decide to indict quickly, I would identify the 5 top crimes in which we have the strongest evidence. Obviously, Georgia would be part of that to show his intent in a conspiracy, and the conspiracy's objective was January 6th, and perhaps take the phony electors and put that in. I wouldn't have too many co-conspirators, but I know who they'd be. They'd be Rudy and be Bannon, and maybe we get a couple of cooperating people. And how long would it take us to do that? If you gave me the right people, you could do it. You could do it in a couple of weeks. This is not complicated. It's all out there. We don't have to have 100,000 pages. We're not going to put them on trial. We want to go in and we want to get the head of the snake, and we want it done now. Now, the Justice Department that didn't talk about investigations is now giving interviews to the Washington Post. I haven't seen it. It was taped, and there are excerpts. And you have Garland saying, oh, there's a crime committed. We go after the person. We don't fool around, and so on. Well, I don't know. It's almost like a deathbed conversion, politically speaking. That is that he has been the object of so much criticism, and I'm of that pack. And we've overwhelmed the apologists for the Justice Department. Oh, we don't know exactly what he's doing. And so we're in a place to expect him to come out and bow to the wishes of the people, to explain why he's not prosecuting the biggest damn case in American history, involving the most possible damage. And the most terrorizing aspect is that they could have brought down our democracy. And it's not over yet. And I think it certainly will never be over unless and until there's an accounting for those who committed these crimes. It just seems so elementary. Now, let's give the devil his due. We had 2 Vice President Pence aides in the grand jury. That's good. I presume they said something like they said before the January 6th committee. And there are 2 subpoenas in Arizona for those who are involved with these phony elector verifications. Good. Now, it's not an indictment. It's not a charge. And I've said once before, channeling Tom Cruise, show me the charges. Show me the charges. And I won't believe that these guys are serious until I see it. And why not? I don't want this, I've mentioned it before, I don't want this to be Mueller 2, another deception on the American public that, we're doing something when they're not doing anything at all. So we're just going to have to keep on them. I'm trying to work hard at my cases. Holly and I go for walks and things whenever she has the impulse to exercise or to do something. The animals are, this time of the year, they take care of themselves a lot. There's a lot of stuff on the ground for them to eat, but we give them all sorts of special treats. And these walks and my exercise and swimming and weights and stuff like that, that's how I maintain my sanity. So I hope you had a good day today. I hope it's as comfortable where you are as it is here. And yes, I will take a spin, but not too quick, because I upset some people if I spin too quickly. It still looks pretty quick, doesn't it? My cathedral of trees. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.